Hi, I'm Carla D. Tillery, and welcome to the Chair Chronicles. I'm your life coach and your favorite auntie. You know, that aunt that is so not afraid to tell you the truth and help you see things just a little clearer, and you love her advice. Well, as a certified life coach with over 2 decades of experience, I'm very passionate about helping you find your happiness. So pull up a chair and let's have a talk. LA.
Hey.
It's almost holiday season.
Yes, and we are ready.
We are ready. And today we're going to deal with how do you prepare for the holidays during the COVID pandemic.
Right on time.
And I think a lot of people are wondering, what are they going to do? How are they going to do it?
Right.
And with everything that's at stake, and I mean, what's at stake are the lives. Of our dear loved ones.
Yes.
So we've got to stretch ourselves.
Yes. And I think that if we plan early, we still can have that excitement, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we want to be excited about the holidays.
And I think I always say to my friends and family and to those that I'm working with is that it is up to us as to what we make it.
That's right.
And I know a lot of people don't look forward to the holidays.
Yeah.
A lot of people have lost loved ones.
Right.
There may be some empty seats at the table this year.
Yeah.
Because we've lost those loved ones or those visits that we normally do.
Right.
They're no longer there to visit.
Yeah.
And so it can be a very depressing time for so many people.
Right.
And I think more so this year than ever because of the high numbers of loss.
Yeah.
That I think we're facing the potential for a lot of people to be more depressed this year than ever.
Yeah, and that's the sad part that you think about, you know, because we know that you know, sometime during the holidays, it can already be stressful for people. It can also bring about, you know, depression and loneliness and feelings of despair. But like you said, this added situation with COVID, you know, it's an added layer. So, you know, we really need to reach out to one another. And, you know, again, the holidays are also a time to be thankful and grateful for where we are and what we have. You know, as well as we, you know, pray for those and you know, call on our faith to get us through these times. You know, let's also have a good time.
Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good time. Choose to have a good time. Choose to find a way to still celebrate.
Yes.
Right? To still find joy in the family and members that are here.
Yes.
We've got to still find that way of connecting with them to keep things moving ahead.
Yeah. So we have to talk about how we do this. How do we do this?
So I want to start off by at least talking about what do you normally do though? Do you have family traditions? What do you do for Thanksgiving? Let's start with Thanksgiving. Okay. What do you do for Thanksgiving?
For Thanksgiving, you know, it's still really simple. You know, we gather at my mom's house, and you know, through the years, it's gotten more difficult because, you know, added family members and, you know, and nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters starting their own traditions. Yeah. So, you know, it can kind of be a little hairy, you know, who's coming and you know, and not feeling guilty about not coming, you know. So, you know, it'll be interesting this year. It definitely will be, you know, very, very, very low key.
Right.
Very low key.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So for Thanksgiving, we normally, I normally kind of pick one of the holidays to spend with my parents only, and my family only because they don't live in the state that I currently live in. And then, so I'll switch it off between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I think I'm experiencing the same thing as my kids kind of become young adults. It's like they don't really want to be home.
Hang out with you.
They don't want to hang out.
Yeah,
and so they do want to eat.
Right.
But they do more traveling, visiting their friends, and kind of house hopping and that sort of thing. So that's what we've kind of done in the past. And sometimes with my god sister, we always try to do a breakfast as well.
Nice.
So if I'm traveling, I try to do the breakfast before I leave. Right. And so it's been a hodgepodge of different things over the years. But I do try to spend the time with family and my parents more so.
Oh yeah.
Just because they're
older,
far away, and I don't see them as much, and they're getting older.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
And one of the things we always do is so my mom she's like the game person of the family.
Okay, love
and
it.
I think that's where I get it from because I like games and activities.
Nice.
So she's always planning something for us to do. whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, whenever we're together, you can bet we're gonna have some type of game activity. We might not always get it right. Because she makes up her games.
Oh, okay.
These are not like board games.
Okay.
No, she's making up games.
Her own games. Okay.
So, and she's making up the rules.
Oh,
and sometimes as she goes.
Okay. All right.
But it's always fun.
Right.
Yeah, we always have a good time though. It's cute.
Good.
And we always do, because of our faith, we always do this big prayer.
Nice.
And usually we're trying to make sure that whoever it is keeps it short. Because it's usually
it's time to eat. It's like, come on, my food is getting cold. Well, that's great. That's wonderful.
Right. So we do things like that. And sometimes I'll come up with some activities or things like that. Or we'll show like the old home videos.
Oh, love that.
And so we'll watch, the kids when they were doing different things back in the day.
That's
so
great.
We try to find different things but there's going to be some type of entertainment.
Of course. And that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you get excited just talking about it. I can tell. Yeah, so
absolutely.
That's
Because they're usually a lot of fun.
Good.
A lot of fun.
Good.
So that's what we do during the holidays. So,
nice.
But now with the pandemic going on, we're still trying to sort it out. But I've got a lot of ideas.
Great.
But I want to share them with some of my family members so we can figure out exactly how we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And so, so I thought maybe I'll just share some of those ideas and we'll see.
I think it's great.
Right. Okay.
Let's unpack it.
So I do think that you've got to be mindful, though, that there is still a huge risk with the COVID pandemic, and particularly because kids are back in school.
Right.
I'm more concerned about the young ones because I believe them going in and out, they certainly have a higher exposure than sometimes the parents who are just staying at home and working from home and that sort of thing.
Right.
So you may need to do like screening and figure out like how many people are actually going to come to your house.
Right.
Especially if you were the one that normally hosts.
Right.
And you've got to figure out what that invitation list looks like. And hopefully your family is okay. And they're not like, well, you didn't invite me.
I didn't get to come. Right.
Right. So hopefully, people don't have to deal with that. But you got to think about who's coming actually to your house if you're going to open your house up.
Right. Right. And I think it's important that now that people are able to get tested without being symptomatic.
Yes.
Just to put yourself at ease, especially if you are being invited to go to someone's house, go and get tested. I mean, I think that that's a way for your host or hostess to feel like, okay, you're taking responsibility not only for yourself, but for them as well.
Absolutely.
So, I really think that, get tested.
You might want to get tested. Absolutely. You might want to do some self-screening as well to check your temperature and those types of things.
Yes.
And I think making sure also that if you have a cold,
just stay
home.
It's okay.
Even if you're feeling other symptoms and they're not COVID related.
Right.
Just be safe. Just stay home.
Yeah.
Because I think that even with allergies, if you hear somebody sneeze,
you're like,
wait a minute.
Right.
So, and we know that happens, and we know that there are other similar like symptoms, right?
Right.
That could sort of make someone feel nervous.
Right.
So I think you should just, if you're not feeling well, certainly if you have any other type of symptoms, just stay home.
Right.
So I think that screening is necessary.
It is necessary.
And even if it's at the last minute, I think the host or hostess will be fine with you saying, you know what?
Exactly.
I can't come. Right.
Yeah, they're not going to be upset. I think especially with what we have going on now, they will not be offended. And even for those that are hosting, look at your home space. Look at where you're planning on having everyone gather. Do you have a large room, or is it possible to host it outside in a tent or something like that? I really think you really need to think about how many people you're planning on inviting.
Right.
And that'll determine, what kind of, where you'll sit, how you'll sit.
Exactly.
But the screening part is very, very important.
And I think you can just make it fun. So if there's some things you can do outside, whether it's cold weather or warm weather, you could do fire pits and things like that, right? You could utilize those type of outdoor kind of events and things like that to kind of make it fun for the kids and all kinds of things. So
gotta get creative.
Have to get creative.
Yes.
Have to get creative.
Yes.
So prepare early. Think about your guest list.
Right.
think about the spacing in your home and how you can do it safely.
Right.
And one of the other things is there's still a huge encouragement for masks.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so, for family reunions, how people used to do like the family t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Do family masks. Right?
Yeah.
You can make them. You can make it a part of an activity for your home to kind of make the mask.
Yeah.
Or you could order them. There are plenty of places where you can order custom masks. Get your family name on them.
That'd be awesome.
Or
That'd
you could put
so
grandma, granddaddy on it,
Yes.
whatever. So I think there's some creative ways that you can still even make that fun.
Yeah.
Even if you have some at risk, family members and you need to wear the mask.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, listen, I'm one of those people that love the t-shirts.
And so
now I'm getting very creative by having people make me masks. So I don't sew or do anything like that, but I have some really cute masks.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Well, masks now are like a fashion statement.
Yes.
So not only protection, but they're fashion as well. So I'd say make it fun. And if you want to come up with holiday masks, I think that's a great activity for the kids or the family to join in, or just order some for the family.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I think, that's if you are hosting and you have other people coming in your house.
Right.
So of course, I think with this virtual environment that everybody is in now,
yes,
I think we have seen birthdays become virtual. We've seen parades.
Oh yeah.
The drive-through parades, the drive-by.
Drive-by.
So we've seen all kind of creative activities for even other types of special occasions.
Yes.
So I think thinking like along those lines around the holidays is also good. So say, for example, if they're grandparents and they are at risk and you really don't want to have a lot of exposure, you could do a drive-by parade.
Yes.
A holiday parade for your grandparents so they can at least see the kids and feel somewhat connected.
Yes.
So
I like that idea. I love that idea. Yeah. They would love that.
I bet so. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So we have to think about all of these different ways of staying connected.
Yeah. And we can do it. Technology is it's not so difficult. We all have iPhones and Galaxy phones, and iPads.
Listen, you ain't gotta you don't have to shy away on the Galaxy. I am a Galaxy person.
Person as well.
I do.
But,
But
so it's to stay connected.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think with the technology, I think most people, I shouldn't say most people, but I think there are a lot of people now that have even gotten their older parents and older family members up to date with technology, whether it's FaceTime or whether it's Zoom and things like that. Yeah. So certainly using those tools.
Yeah.
But I would say this, if you're connected with a lot of family members, test the technology.
Please test it
ahead of time.
Yes, please.
You want to make sure that it's going to be working, and that if you have older family members, they know how to use it.
Exactly.
Even the younger ones, the middle age.
Yes.
I consider myself young, but
me too.
Every now and then there's some technology issues.
Yes.
So so you gotta, I say, test it before the holiday, so you make sure everything is running smoothly.
Absolutely.
And if you're using like a laptop or your phone, like where is it going to be placed at? Right? Because the worst thing to do is just to see one person and somebody else is talking and you can't see them in the camera.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So you want to test like where is it going to be at? Yes. Will it be able to see everybody in the family and that sort of thing?
I love that. I like that. Yeah. That's a good idea.
So there's so many different things, like even virtually, you could still do contests like the ugly sweater contest. You could do who has the best decorated table. You think creatively and you still can do a lot of things, even though everyone might not be in the same physical space.
Right. And allow yourself to start thinking about it now. I mean, I had a coworker who would have all of her Christmas shopping done by now.
Oh yes,
like she would start like August.
So, I'm not one of those.
Yeah, I'm not either. But like you said, with this, with us, celebrating the holidays in a very different way. Start early. It removes a lot of that stress.
And I think it also would get you excited.
Yeah.
I know, even as we were kind of like planning the day and we've got the studio decorated,
right.
It's like, okay, the
is
holidays
good. Yes, exactly.
So I think when you start to plan early, it gets you excited. And then I think that'll help cut down on some of the holiday blues and just some of that other kind of sadness and and feeling like you're missing your loved ones,
Right.
it'll kind of take the edge off somewhat,
Right.
so that you can find ways to just
Right.
pick yourself up, give yourself some energy and
Yeah.
some good vibes,
Yes.
and celebrate with the
Yes.
ones that are here.
Yeah, and it gets them excited as well. I have a feeling a lot of people are just kind of waiting and seeing, like, who's going to reach out and
Right.
say, you know, am I invited? Are they going
Right.
to have anything? So now you get ahead of it, and that way it gives people time to prepare.
Right, absolutely.
yeah.
And if you have lost some loved ones, sometimes families do like a small kind of like memorial, or just to honor
That
them.
would be
and there's so
wonderful.
many different ways to give honor to your family members
Yes.
that you might have lost. And so sometimes talking about it is very healthy.
Yes.
Right? And to celebrate their life, and to share a story
Right.
or a favorite memory with them.
Yeah.
So there are even ways to acknowledge that,
Yes.
to feel that kind of emptiness that people may feel because
Right.
they've lost some loved one.
And I like that. I like the idea of really talking about it and sharing the memories,
Sharing the memories.
honoring them. And
Yes.
I think it's definitely something that people should do. They
Yes.
shouldn't avoid talking about it.
That's
It's
right.
okay to say I miss them.
Exactly.
You know, and I wish they were here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think there's opportunities. I think that family members can think about that. And again, just being creative, and maybe you want to get a T-shirt or a family photo
Yes,
of that
I like
individual
that.
and have it present.
I love
There's
that.
so many different ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think also like family discussions, I think are good and healthy, right? And you got to think a little bit outside the box because everybody's not there.
Right.
And sometimes with the technology, when you have people, Zoom or whatever, software you're using.
Right.
Sometimes there's the delay,
Right.
and there's all kinds of things. So everybody can't be talking at the same time. You can't hear them. So it might have to be a little bit more structured.
Right.
A
Right.
little bit.
Yes.
And my husband hates like that kind of thing. Like, don't structure anything.
Yeah,
Let's just let it flow and let's just go with it.
Yeah.
But I think if you have other people, it just depends on your makeup, right?
Right.
And your preference.
Right.
You can, if you want something a little bit more structured, you could share a family photo.
Yes.
And have everybody kind of go around and talk about why it's your family photo.
Right.
And, what makes it so special to you.
Yeah.
Or you could do, you could also do some type of activity where you're sharing your favorite family memory
Oh, I love that
as
one.
well.
I love that.
So you don't necessarily have to have the photo. You could just talk about your favorite family member.
I like that. I like that a lot. And when me and my family get together, everybody talks over one another, but we understand what each other's talking about. But I like that idea, especially if we have to do something virtual, and then depending
Yes.
upon how many people join.
people.
Yeah, but I like that. It kind of gives parameters, and
Right.
it allows each person to share.
Right.
So I like that.
Because everybody might not feel comfortable with everybody and I know you can eat at the same time virtually. I've never done that.
I've never done it.
But, maybe you set a certain time and say, after this, then we're going to,
Yeah.
just kind of go around and sharing. And then I think, it's interesting. So my son was doing a project and he needed to understand our family history. So he was asking a lot of questions. And so my dad comes from a huge family. I was like, I don't know that much information, like
Right.
birth dates and all of
Yeah.
that. And so my husband was answering the questions for his family history,
Okay.
and then started the Ancestry.com.
Love
And the next
it.
thing I know,
Yes.
he was doing that for days.
Yes. Yes. I can
lost.
testify to that. It will happen.
Getting lost, like,
Yes.
and who is so-and-so's mom and dad, and where did they live, and who was in the household, and realizing that I guess the data pulls up census data,
Oh, yes.
so you can see.
Yes.
And so very interesting, right? So I think another good activity is to build your family tree and talk about it.
Yes.
Right? Talk about the greats, and where did they live, and what did they do, and
Yes.
what's their story.
Right.
And sometimes the younger generations do not know
They
the
don't.
story of those greats in their
Oh, yes.
family.
Yes.
So I think that's another
That's
great thing
all.
to do.
That one will, when I tell you, you will spend hours. You will get lost because I've done it. My mom, although she was the youngest of 15, she actually had more knowledge and more information. So I started her family tree years ago, and I
Excellent.
literally had to put it down because you just spend hours and you just discover and you discover more and you discover more. But like you said, what a great way. You have family members on the phone, on
Right.
live, in front of you. on Zoom or, you can actually then say, could you send me all of your siblings and their birthdays? And you just start to continue to build. Oh my goodness, it would just venture off in so many different directions. Yeah.
Somebody's getting a family photo and saying, this is Aunt G.
Yes, exactly.
It'll be a black and white photo or Polaroid.
Yes. And what a way to really just be so excited about your heritage and where you come from. I'm telling you,
and I think more so now, understanding your family's history is so important. So important to build sort of that identity of who you are and where you come from.
Yes.
And it like you said, once you get started, it is so hard to put it down.
It really is.
And then when you have a black hole, is like, I got to fill this out.
Yeah.
Who knows who this was and where they were and what they were doing, right?
And what a way to find relatives that you didn't even know you had.
Exactly.
So this is, I love that.
So when we were going through it, I called my dad and he was sitting in his chair. It was so happy my sister was at the house. Yeah. And so we started going through it, and everybody was like, well, so-and-so, and this is who, and this is what they were doing. Yes. And so it can be such a fun activity to do. Yeah. And I think it's so timely right now to just find that way to stay connected with your family members, to go through your history, to build sort of that legacy of knowing who you are and where you come from.
Yes.
And make the holidays special. Find a way to make this year of 2020, find a way to make it special.
You really
There's so many things we can talk about that have been negative, that have been hurtful, that bring a lot of pain, that bring a lot of sorrow because of the sickness and the death.
Right.
Let's find a way to bring some life to this year.
Yes, really. I mean, I'm all for, light and laughter.
Right.
I get it with the whole political thing, but let's try to shy away from some of those conversations that can really go left.
Right.
That's right. Just really focus on friends and family and how much you mean to one another. And like you said, share some like these tips of games and just talking about family history and sharing photos. Just really concentrate on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what we've kind of aged away from through technology? Sending cards and letters.
Oh, yeah.
So my mom,
my mom
so
too.
Our tradition growing up was every time we got a Christmas card, they went around the door, right?
You're right. Yeah.
And so when you come in during the holiday season,
all the cards,
cards, where they came from, and it was exciting to see, people from all over, all your family members and friends to send cards.
Yeah.
Well, no one sends cards anymore. No. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, there's still a few, but very few. Very few.
Right?
Yeah.
And so maybe this is the time to bring that back, and maybe you can make it an activity where people either send cards to each other or they send letters, and then you can read them over the holidays and that sort of thing while you're all together. So there's so many, I think, different things. We've only just scratch the surface with some of the ideas.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great time to start planning, thinking outside the box.
Yes.
And really getting everybody excited.
Yes.
Excited about something.
Yes. I mean, we have a lot to be thankful and grateful for. So I think we just have to stay in that path of what can I do to make someone smile.
Exactly.
And you will get it back. And just talking about what you said about the cards and all of that, I actually started doing that. Working from home, and you feel a little disconnected. You're not going places that you used to go to or being around people as much. And I found that I started receiving cards, and I've had people call me and say, you do not know how much that card, I needed it at that time. So, having that as a family activity, just start to send cards out. And trust me, when I say go to the dollar store, I don't have great handwriting. So for me, it's the $2, it's 2 cards for $1 at the Dollar Tree. Trust me, they have cards out now for Thanksgiving.
Right.
Cards are out now for just thinking of you.
Right.
I mean.
Yeah, all kinds of special occasions or just because.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea a lot.
So sending cards and letters. My mom was really big on that.
My mom still is.
And they still make a lot of phone calls at times to stay connected with family family members.
Right.
So that's still another way. If you don't want to send a card or send a letter,
right,
make a phone call to some of your distant cousins and people you haven't seen in years. Because I think, the family reunions have certainly been limited. If they haven't happened, they're certainly on a smaller scale.
Right.
But I think we still can find ways to make this holiday season very, very special.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right.
So I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. We hope that you are thinking and planning for your holidays to make it special. And we always want you to stay tuned and stay connected on
The Chair Chronicles.